It's intercepted. Shaquille Griffin makes an incredible play. Coleman looks out of the gun, runs the option, keeps it. He is into the end zone for the Knights touchdown.
Welcome to Knightline Post-Game Live. When the clock expires, we go live. Knight Nation's only post-game call-in show goes live now.
Hello, Knight Nation. This is Andrew Phegley coming to you from the Burger U on the campus of UCF. What a game, 55-62. I guess I should say 62-55. I can't even talk right now. What an incredible game. Joining me here is Carson Engel. Carson, oh my God.
What a game, and what in a game like distractions, all the outside noise that was rearing its head even as we were in that stadium today, Andrew, none of that matters because UCF is 12-0. They're the conference champions of the American for the third time, and we're going to a New Year's Six bowl game.
Absolutely. What a freaking game. Overtime, like absolutely insane. I don't know how many times did we win that game?
The two false start penalties, you know, UCF weathered the storm through those late. I mean, that was the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen a team have to overcome in the course of a ball game that was close late like that.
Absolutely.
And I
crazy.
thought, you know, UCF's done for at that moment.
Yeah, I thought that they were done for a couple times. That right before overtime, the field goal, I mean, craziness. All right, well, the phone number 407-401-9184, 407-401-9184. You can always give us a call here.
The thing's been ringing off the hook since I got here,
It's
Andrew.
ringing, let's answer it. Hey, you're on Knightline. What's your name? Where are you calling from? What do you think?
Hey, Andrew, it's Chris calling from Toronto, buddy. AAC champ.
Absolutely. Woo! What a crazy game. What did you think? Were you able to watch the whole thing up there?
Oh my God. I'm at work. I'm at work right now. I'm watching the whole thing live stream. And then with 2 minutes left, the damn thing goes out.
Oh, no.
So I had to update on ESPN as far just so I could make a call in and
well, thank
congratulate everybody on a great job.
I greatly appreciate it, man. The Grey Cup was a great game, too. So good to see those guys up there get that win. So, all right, guys, thank you, Chris, very much for calling. Really appreciate it. I want to let other people get in if we got them, all right?
Absolutely, man. Go Knights.
Charge on.
Go Knights.
All right, wow. So what was it that we said? Did I say the amount of offense off the top?
1,700 yards.
1,479 yards.
Unrealistic for him to think that that's going to be possible with him having to take the job at Nebraska, everything that means, and then coming back here and getting this team into bowl prep. I think that's an unrealistic thing. I think he'd like to do that. You saw how emotional he was after this game. He wants to be with these players. He wants to finish that out, but going to be very hard for that situation to work out for all sides at this point.
That was a good explanation. That should be it there, Richard.
Yeah, I got the impression that Milton knew that he was going ahead of time. Did you get that impression?
Well, all the players' parents that I talked to today, none of them had a clue as far as the truth, to be honest with you. So the parents that I talked to said that Frost did not say anything to the team.
But I think also they wanted to kind of be optimistic when if they really dug down deep and sort of one of those, you know, it's awful. It sucks.
The writing has been on the wall for quite a while. I mean, I don't think it's a shock to anybody, to be honest with you. It sucks for sure, but I don't think it was a shock to anybody. So it is what it is, you know. I mean, I don't think that there's anything anybody could have done about it. We don't have the money that Nebraska does, and it's also his alma mater. So I guess, you know, that's okay. I still say that he could have had a dynasty here. He could have done things that have never been done in the G5 before, and I guess that he doesn't want to do that.
I think certainly he could have success at Nebraska, Andrew, but at the same time, when you turn down coming back here and what all this means and everything that everyone's poured in to try to make you successful here, when you turn down a job at the University of Florida, one of the top 5 jobs in this country probably, when you potentially turn down a job at Florida State, You see Florida State's open now. You would think if maybe his mind was still not made up that Florida State would want to talk to him. And if Florida State goes after Willie Taggart, the Oregon job where he coached and loved is back open. So I don't think he's making a great career choice to go to Nebraska, and that's not to say he won't be successful there.
Right.
But it seemed like there was a lot of other options on the table. Could have won and recruited a lot easier, and he's kind of choosing that difficult road, and I think he went for a multitude of reasons, but time will tell.
I'm not a fan of the whole thing, so Richard, thank you very much for calling, man. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, go AAC in the bowl game.
Absolutely. It's going to be a good one. Hopefully we'll get a good opponent. I think we should in the Peach Bowl. They got to give us somebody. Give us Alabama. We got to play some defense, though, if we're going to play one of those teams. I was sitting with my sponsor, Travis Dever. Thank you to Travis Dever, by the way, for helping us do all this stuff. I was sitting with him in the cabana, and we were standing, but I was saying, we got to play a little bit of defense if we're going to play somebody like Alabama. There's no way that we're going to be able to do this, do what we did today, 700 and something yards. Oh, boy. Yeah, so
defensive consultant George O'Leary for the bowl game. Anyone on board with that? Anyone? Anybody? Bueller?
Defensive consultant somebody. I don't know. Who knows who's going to be here? Hey, put on that headset right there. This is perfect. This is absolutely perfect.
I haven't been on the air at the same time with this guy in quite some time.
This is the perfect situation here. I really appreciate it. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Kyle Israel.
What's going on, guys? Oh my gosh!
What a game!
What a game!
Where were you at?
I was on the 10-yard line right there
on the sideline,
and really the whole second half. With that fourth quarter going up 14, your emotions are like, man, we got this in the bag. Memphis is obviously an incredible football team.
Absolutely.
And
there's Memphis fans sitting right next to us, by the way. There's quite a few in here.
Hey, respect to them.
Absolutely.
What a game.
I shook 2 or 3 of the people's hands, gave them high fives on the way out because, Memphis played an incredible game. So it was 1,479 yards or something like that of offense. How crazy is that?
It is crazy. And I the players that Memphis has in their skill positions, I listened to their coach's interview yesterday or conference, and he said Memphis wants a team that highlights players and allows them to make plays, and that was very obvious today. Anthony Miller, one of the best players ever in the American Athletic Conference. Riley Ferguson, one of the best quarterbacks ever in this conference. You got to give them a ton of credit. Because, today they just came up a little bit short, but that offense did enough to win the football game.
Absolutely. It was incredible.
Yeah, I think people were a little upset when they saw Traquan Smith make the second-team All-American for wide receiver. The 2 kids from SMU made it, and then Miller from Memphis. You saw why Miller
conference could be. What's different between us and the Big 12? Nothing.
No.
We can score points. We can sometimes play defense, and that's about all the Big 12 does.
Right, and that was an incredible showcase. I can't wait to see the ratings. The ratings have to be incredibly high on this one, too. Their ratings for the Black Friday game were insane. So
anytime a game is so close like that, and this one goes into overtime, all that does is send the ratings up. So ABC expect another huge number, one of the biggest most watched games in UCF history yet again here back-to-back weeks.
Well, and I think that it was very successful for the American and successful for Mike Oresco. Absolutely. What else? What more could you ask for? I guess maybe I don't know.
It would have been very interesting talking to Danny White on the sideline. He told me that had we lost that game, we would have been playing a Big 12 team in the Liberty Bowl.
Right. Probably West Virginia.
West Virginia is who we would have played.
Yeah.
Which actually would have been, I'm thinking we're going to a Birmingham Bowl or some other random bowl. I would have been disappointed, but a bowl game in Memphis, Liberty Bowl is a little bit sour for me.
Right. Something they were showing during the SEC championship game. They were showing the last play of our game and the score and everything. Great.
But if we can keep in here, who can recruit? I don't know about the Randy Shannon rumor as defensive coordinator. But let's just have fun
Well,
for a
those are
second.
two big names.
Kevin Sumlin, Randy Shannon, Troy Walters, maybe Kevin Smith back as a running backs coach. Sumlin has a cast of crew with coaches.
He's got a great coaching
well.
staff. I actually did a kind of a deep dive into his staff last night in preparation of this possibility, and the sky's the limit with Kevin Sumlin coming here. That's an absolute home run hire. That's a guy that you dream of. Texas A&M should have never fired him, but Texas A&M has the expectations now with the money they're putting into their program that 8-5 isn't good enough for them. Kevin Sumlin here can keep this thing rolling, and like I said at the top, who cares about the coach? Who cares about Nebraska? This team is 12-0 and conference champions of the American for the third time.
And in incredible fashion. I mean, absolutely incredible fashion.
Here's what we know. What do we know today? We know Mackenzie Milton's back. We know Dredrick Snelson's back. We know Adrian Killen's back. Now, that's all pretending that nobody transfers, and I don't think that they will. I went up to Mackenzie after the game. I said, Mackenzie, my name's Kyle Israel.
He knows Kyle Israel. Come
and he
on.
said he did know. He did know. But I introduced myself again. I kissed him
for the trophy presentation, but just such class. And his mom comes up there, and
was there
and
an MVP and all that stuff?
I mean,
that
was one of those storybook kind of moments that you just are like, I can't even believe this is going on right now.
Mackenzie won the MVP. His mother was right there. And for people that don't know, it's not really a secret anymore. But Mackenzie was kind of having trouble adapting.
Absolutely, yeah.
His mother moved here, which. That's not easy.
I didn't know that.
His mother moved here this offseason and kind of just was
a
cornerstone for him. And he lives with her.
You can't be friends with all the players' families, Andrew.
Come on.
I missed that one. Dang it.
So,
Should have been tailgating with her.
It would have been fun to see Mackenzie say, hey, I can't wait to do this again in 2018 or something like that. But he thanked Knight Nation. He thanked our fan base. And, we have a lot of talent coming back next year. We're going to miss Shaquem Griffin. I can't say enough about that family.
What a great game that he had today. What a fitting end to his, for his last game inside Spectrum Stadium.
I think without a question, the greatest leader in UCF history, Kyle. Where does he slot to you in terms of greatest defensive players of all time? Certainly guys like Bruce Miller, Terrence Plummer, had their impact here on the field. You think of some of the great NFL guys that UCF has sent on, like an Asante Samuel, but for Shaquem Griffin's production as a UCF Knight in these last 2 years, winning the American Defensive Player last year, being the emotional heart, soul, and so many big plays this season, I mean, I don't know how you put anybody else on top of that Mount Rushmore.
He's in the top 3 players of all time. I'll say this. The Shaquem, the Shaquille, that Griffin family is probably maybe arguably one of the most important families, certainly, and 2 players combined that this program has ever had. I mean,
do you think their names will be in that Ring of Honor at some point?
I don't know. I don't even know how that works.
Yeah, we got to do a better job of that.
We need to get Kyle Israel's name up there, too.
Dante, Joe Burnett. I don't know how that works.
We need to do a better job of showcasing history as just one little aside. And,
absolutely.
And some of these guys will be those names, the Traquan Smiths, the Mackenzie Miltons, and the Shaquem Griffins. Those will be the guys that whenever we decide to kind of have a formal area to do that, and some of that's coming. The new football building that's being built, there's going to be a UCF Athletics Hall of Fame, a physical location for the Hall of Fame that's going to be kind of in the breezeway of that. So that's coming, but these are guys that we will certainly not forget for a long, long time.
I'm so glad that you stopped by. So, guys, if you want to talk to Kyle Israel live, you can ask him pretty much anything. He'll answer it. I know he will. 407-401-9184. We need to play a commercial. We'll be right back.
You've heard us talk about the great food at our good friend Kyle Israel's restaurant, The Little Greek Fresh Grill. The Little Greek now has franchises available. Please call 407-697-2272. That's 407-697-2272 to see what The Little Greek can do for you. Also check out The Little Greek's newest location at 3131 Daniels Road, Suite 104, Winter Garden, Florida. The Little Greek Fresh Grill. Fresh, flavorful, fabulous.
All right, how fitting that we have a Little Greek commercial on Knightline Postgame Live because Kyle Israel's sitting right here with us. I mean, I'm still kind of blown away. And then during the commercial, we were just like, oh, my God, that was insane, and it was wild. I mean, it was just
from the field.
I'm so glad I stayed. Normally, I leave at about 3 minutes to go to come over here and set everything up. Today, I'm like,
I was worried. I was like, I hope Andrew's staying. I literally, as we started overtime, for whatever reason, my thoughts were on you, Andrew.
Thank you.
I was I hope Andrew Phegley's still in this stadium.
I learned my lesson last week because I left last week at 3 minutes to go, and I've had to watch that on TV. I've replayed it like probably 10 times just to see that and get the full effect of that because that was absolutely insane. So, oh boy.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see who we play. And there's a lot of interesting things to say. Coach Frost, I guess I'm getting a ton of texts saying that he has taken the job in Nebraska. ESPN reported it during the game.
Yeah.
Everybody got the little update
during the game.
Yeah, in overtime. Like my friend just turned over to me and said, "Look at this."
With that being the case, it's going to be very interesting. I would imagine Troy Walters is going to stay on board for the next month. I hope that we retain him. I think it's very important to keep the players happy. Guys like McKenzie. And don't get me wrong, people texted me earlier this week, oh, McKenzie's going to transfer. Who transfers after they become a conference player of the year? You're not going to go sit out a year.
No. People were saying that to me all day, and I said, not just about McKenzie, but just everyone's going to leave, and the world is falling.
So. I mean,
we overdo how much that really happens. There may be a guy here and there, maybe a Noah Vidral who's from the state of Nebraska, has his redshirt year in front of him, goes back with Frost to Nebraska. Maybe that's something that happens. But the defections will be few and far between, and rest assured, this team will have plenty coming back here in 2018.
Yeah, I definitely see Noah Vidral leaving. I mean, that's no question as far as I'm concerned. But besides that, I don't know who would follow him.
I don't blame Noah.
Yeah, let's take this phone call here.
Hey, you're on Knightline. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, it's Andrew from Oviedo.
Hey, Andrew from Oviedo, right down the street. What did you think of this game?
Absolutely incredible. I didn't think the USF game could be any worse, but this was right up there in terms of pulling the heartstrings.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. What was your favorite part of the game, I guess, and what was what does this mean? I mean, it's a huge, huge thing to do.
I mean, it's absolutely incredible. 2 years ago, we were 0-12. Now we're 12-0. I'm still trying to wrap my head around that and try to drink it in and relish it. But I have to say the best play of the game is that Trey Neal interception. What sealed it. Goal line defense. It's absolutely incredible.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you for calling, man. Greatly appreciate it.
All right, take care.
All right.
Let me just give you a update here. Pat Clark, the longtime Wesh 2 News sports reporter, has just tweeted, UCF President John Hitt confirms that Scott Frost is leaving the night. So just in case anyone had any final doubts, John Hitt has
I can tell you this, that I was just talking to Ryan Callahan's father, who's one of our assistant directors of recruiting, and he's standing right over there. He's also accepted a job in Nebraska, and that whole staff flies out tonight to start recruiting tomorrow morning.
You're kidding. Oh, wow.
No, I'm not kidding.
Wow.
But good for those guys. I mean, listen.
But let's say most of them will come back and do bowl prep and things like that.
I'm talking
because people are kind of freaked out about that.
I'm talking about the recruiting side of things.
Right.
Ryan got us Adrian Killens. He got us Otis Anderson. He got us Mackenzie Milton. And Scott Frost clearly wants to still recruit the state of Florida.
Right. Well, do you think any of those guys would follow him?
I would look at our recruiting class. Maybe some of those guys potentially would follow him. I don't know. Let me tell you something. You get off the plane in Lincoln. I took an official visit to Penn State.
Yeah.
Okay. I got off the plane. It was like 3 degrees.
Yeah.
It's 28 degrees in Lincoln this morning.
I almost wanted to say, let me get back on this plane. Number one, Happy Valley, there's nothing.
Right.
Nonetheless.
I don't know if you've ever been to Lincoln.
Lincoln, I think, is about the same.
There is nothing there except for the university. That's it.
But again, let me kind of like just hyphenate that because people have been freaked out about that. The staff that's in place, maybe not everybody, but the gut of the staff, the majority of this staff will coach UCF through the bowl. Is that accurate? Okay.
That's accurate.
Yeah.
Shenander won't Coach Frost, I don't think will.
Maybe somebody else, but for the most part.
Troy Walters, I think, will coach this staff.
He should be the interim head coach. We
He
should
will
hear
be.
that. Yeah.
And listen, Troy Walters, I mean, if you would have told me Troy Walters was taking over at the end of last season, I would have scratched my head and said, I don't know. But when you've been 2 years under Frost, you're in meetings every single day. You spend 17 hours with somebody for 24 months. 17 hours. You learn. You understand why they do things. You understand what they see. And you can inherit that. There's no more, Troy Walters isn't inheriting Coach Frost's charisma. He's not inheriting his ability to talk to the media and his intelligence. But when it comes to play calling, he's certainly inherited things there. And if we can somehow keep Troy Walters on this staff, I think it keeps everybody happy.
I think obviously the NFL pedigree is huge with him, right?
Yes.
The years that he played in the league, that gains respect automatically. Well, he's a guy that is really, really well respected in the coaching profession, just around the country. Now he's a finalist for the Broyles Award. I'm not sure if he should be a finalist for the Broyles Award as an offensive coordinator that doesn't actually call plays, but whatever. He's got that distinction. Give it up to him. He's a man of great class and dignity and honor, and we've gotten to know him a little bit, and I think he's a great guy. And if Kevin Sumlin is the guy, it would be nice to see some sort of continuity from the old staff to cross over from the new staff. And certainly we expect that,
Beckton.
like I said, with some of the UCF guys, maybe a Fisher, maybe a Beckton.
And nobody knows this offense better than he does.
No.
I mean, nobody knows the Scott Frost offense. Maybe he doesn't call the plays, but he's capable of calling the plays. We know that. So
He is.
I don't think anybody, so
and
that would be very valuable to, especially to the players that are here, to Mackenzie Milton,
Adrian
keeping
Killens.
the same. I'm sure they could keep some of the same terminology and a lot of the same plays and all that. I mean, it's,
This is something,
once
guys,
you learn it.
This is something, guys, that I may have even said when Scott Frost was hired on my radio show. We have entered into a time in UCF sports history, and specifically for this football program, where the fan base, Danny White as the athletic director, everyone in the administration has to have the next man up mentality. It's the next guy up. This is going to be what UCF is if we continue to have success. It is the blessing and the curse of being in the position in college football that we stand right now. Maybe that changes in the years to come, but where we are right now, you just have to keep winning and trusting Danny White to make the best next hire to keep it going. There are programs throughout the country that you can look at. Boise State comes to mind with what they were able to do, going from Dirk Cutter to Houston Nutt,
Even Memphis.
to Dan Hawkins and into Chris Peterson, who they had for a while, and now Brian Harsin. Cincinnati did it with Mark D'Antonio, and into Brian Kelly, and into Butch Jones.
Tulsa. Todd Graham.
That's the mentality. I know it hurts right now. I know people probably want to lash out and be negative about Coach Frost and all that stuff.
No, he's dead. He's dead to me.
but that's the kind of, if we're gonna really portray ourselves as a big-time program on the national scale and say we're UCF, we're not afraid of anything, and we can go out and beat anybody, and we can be anything we want to be as a football program, then we have to roll with the punches and understand that this is a little bit of like what life is going to be as a Knights fan, at least in the immediate future, until something might change in the college football world and where we are conference-wise.
Well, it's going to be an incredible ride. There's a lot to keep going here, and any staff that comes in here, I think for the fans and for the university, really needs to keep it going. I think that's one of the biggest things. We've seen 2 games there that every game should be like, with the fans and stuff like that out there. They definitely came out. I wasn't expecting it to look like that today.
It was the students. The students brought in, I think they said 16 to 17,000 students today.
Well, they've let them get in for free.
Let them in for free.
That was a good move on UCF.
Hey, listen, as we always say, our students are our biggest booster. With the student fee we charge them and the money that comes into the program with the students, they deserve to be in there for free, and they did a great job today.
And they should be, yeah.
What is exciting, I'll tell you that I was standing on the sideline today, and today I didn't have a media credential, but my friends donated $125,000 over the next 5 years to this program. And a guy like Scott Frost, think of how much, and Danny, I should rephrase that. Danny White, with the excitement of Scott Frost over the last 2 years, has really given people a reason to be excited and given people ultimately a reason to start writing checks. And when you're a program that gets much less than a Power 5 program from a TV contract, like I don't know what we get, maybe $2 or $3 million a year from our American TV contract, and other schools get $22 million. You need people to support fiscally, financially, and every year. And I think that guys that are our age, 30, 29, 28, 29, 30, Andrew, you're only 31, so.
Well, he doesn't look 31. He looks a lot older than that.
I'm just kidding, but
I'm 34, but
that's important for a foundation of the program. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, yes, and he needs to go after those people now to get it later on. Like I guess you were saying, that's where it starts. So, wow.
It's a lot today. It's a lot to take in.
Yeah.
The game, what's happening.
I don't even feel bad about Coach Frost leaving. I'll be honest with you. There's a part of me that doesn't even. I have a certain level of anticipation right now.
I'm glad that it's over. I'm glad that it's finally said.
I'm happy I don't have to talk to Nebraska fans on Twitter anymore. Personally, good riddance to that.
For me, it's been a rough couple of days. I've been thinking about this whole thing a lot. I've been thinking about what I was going to say about it. I was thinking about, especially tomorrow during the show, how am I going to react to this? Am I going to be pissed off? Am I going to be sad? I don't feel like that right now. I'm actually relieved to just know that it's going to happen and we're going to move on. You know, the next guy up is what everybody says all the time. So I guess, I just don't want – this is the thing that I'm worried about, and this is what I said last week. I was worried that this would plunge UCF back into obscurity. And I hope that doesn't happen. But if you – like you mentioned, a guy like Kevin Sumlin, Randy Shannon, those guys, names like that, even though they're not the most popular guys in all of sports, that would keep –
easy business, isn't
we
it?
need to hire a coach tonight so we can start recruiting tomorrow morning.
I mean, I would hope that Danny White, has already, figured this out and it's a done deal. Let's take this phone call real quick.
Hey, you're on Knightline. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
What's going on, guys? My name is Noah. I'm calling from Los Angeles, California, class of 2011. Hell of a game today, guys, and thank you for taking my call.
Absolutely. Yeah, what a game. What a game. It was insane. Give us your take on it. What do you think about it?
Well, just like the USF game last week, I'm sitting here watching it on YouTube TV, and I'm thinking, man, we can't lose this game, not only for the fact that, no one likes to lose, but, there's always been detractors with our school, because we've been pushing so hard to get to this stage. And, if we lose a game like this, people say, oh, you see, UCF isn't ready for the big time. But, kudos to Coach Frost and his players and his staff, for keeping the pace. And like you alluded to a moment ago, rolling with the punches and, finding a way to win. I mean, good teams, good programs, they figure this out when they face adversity. So my hat goes off to these kids. They played a hell of a game. And, I'm hurt by the fact that Frost is going to Nebraska, but, good for him. I mean, his stock is high right now, and he needs to cash in while the going's good. So good for him, and hopefully UCF will continue to, bring in coaches who are young, innovative guys, that can really rally the troops and keep this going. Because obviously I think we've proven that we are a good college football destination. It's not a matter of the kids that you can bring in. It's who the coach is, and what that guy has in mind. So I feel like UCF can definitely keep this going for years to come.
All right, Noah, that was a great take, man. Greatly appreciate your call.
Thank you, guys.
All right, have a good one. Thanks for calling.
Did he say he's calling from Los Angeles?
He did, yeah. We have people call from all kinds of places.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, we had somebody from Arizona earlier. Yeah, absolutely. We got people everywhere. It's on YouTube. Next year, by the way, everyone, if you're listening to this on YouTube, next year, iHeartRadio. Postgame Live will be on iHeartRadio. Just so everybody knows, you'll hear about it. Welcome, Trace Trylko.
Wow. I haven't had a chance to just
decompress
enjoy
yet?
it.
Yeah.
He came over here like I thought he was going to start dancing.
I know.
I'm like excited. Wow. All right, so as you can imagine, with the American Athletic Conference controlling things, it wasn't your typical post-game scene. Coach Frost at the podium with Shaquem, with Trey Neal, with McKenzie, and with Traquan Smith. Big thing is that Coach Frost was asked if he had informed his team yet. He said not as of yet, that was going to happen after. As I made my way over from the stadium, you could see players beginning to assemble at the Wayne Dent Center. And he, again, has echoed things that we've heard him say this last week about how incredibly difficult all of this is coming at this time. Had an opportunity to talk to Otis Anderson, and he was asked, were you playing for what may be Coach Frost's final game? And he said, well, not really. We were playing for the guy to the left and the guy to the right. And I like to hear that.
And that's the way that it should be. That's exactly the way that it should be. It shouldn't be for a coach. And I guess this is what I've struggled with the last couple days, because I was telling everybody that I wasn't sure how I was going to take this. I'm actually relieved that it's over. I'm happy that it's over. We can move on to the next guy. That's what I'm ready to do.
Well, clearly something different when you win this game and you go 12-0 and you win the American Athletic Conference, and now you go to a New Year's Day Bowl versus losing this game and ending up in a lesser bowl and you still lose Frost. So
right.
A lot of things to be excited about. Were these the two best, most exciting back-to-back UCF games ever?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
The two most back-to-back exciting games in the American Athletic Conference. And
Both at home.
Yeah.
I'd argue these are two of the most exciting games of the college football season.
I don't know how they couldn't be.
Both at home.
Yeah.
Both on ABC. Both kind of that either noon or 3:30 game where people actually sit down on the couch and unreal.
I'm so glad that the nation got to witness what's going on here at UCF, and I think it's going to continue here at UCF. I'm not worried that it's not going to continue, because I hear what people are saying, and I feel that Danny White is really going for, somebody that's really going to do it. I was worried at first that,
I will also throw out there that the other name, I don't know the name, to be honest with you. But if it's not Kevin Sumlin and not that cast and crew, then I was told that it's the North Texas coach. Now, he's getting smacked by FAU and Lane Kiffin today, but I was told that there was a very, very good chance that if it's not Kevin Sumlin and company, that potentially, I don't know his name. I didn't know Scott Frost's name either, so let me remind you of that.
Right.
I didn't know who he was.
I mean, the Austin P guy has also been thrown in there. I've heard his name a few times.
Yes. So, and I don't know what his name is either. But, it is what it is. Let's take some phone calls.
Hey, you're on Knightline. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
It's Scott calling from Stanford.
Scott, what did you think of the game? It was probably one of the most incredible games I've ever witnessed.
Well, look, I'm going to be 48 in about 3 weeks. These last 2 weeks, I have been very uncertain whether or not I was going to make it to that age.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard me earlier.
I got to tell you, I tuned in a little bit later because I was listening to some of the post-game stuff, and one of the things we're going to have to get better at as our program starts to elevate to the level that it's elevating to is our media members have to have a little bit tougher skin. I'm telling you, it was like halfway through the news conference today before Pat Clark finally asked Scott Frost if he coached his last game. I mean, it's like everybody knows that what was reported, and it was just like, I know you don't for celebrating, but you got to ask the question. And it was like a good 10 minutes into the press conference before somebody even addressed it, which I thought was really weird. But I'll tell you one thing, that and Brian Greasy started to touch on this a little bit on the broadcast today. What I love about what has happened here this week is the way this has all been handled and how touching it has all been for the player and for it's obvious that all the players know what's going on, and it's so very obvious that the players support whatever decision he would make, and they played their hearts out for him today. I don't think you could say the same thing is going on up in Taffy. And it's just, Brian Greasy sort of brought it up as the juxtaposition of the two differences and how something be handled as opposed to it hasn't. And that really makes me proud because I really think it showcased our community and our school in a really positive light.
All righty. Well, yeah, good take for sure. I'm gonna let you hear our response off because we got other calls coming in.
No
all right?
problem.
Thank you for calling, man. I appreciate it.
To this point, there is a certain decorum in this press conference situation, and everybody knows that the red meat is to ask Coach Frost about this. But at that podium was not Coach Frost one-on-one. There was Shaquem and Traquan and Trey Neal and Mackenzie Milton. And for some of those guys, it's their final game, and they're emotionally spent. It's hard for me because I have a journalism background, but I'm a UCF alum.
Right.
I want to celebrate with them in that moment and not take away from them getting to be able to share their joy at going 12-0, 2 years removed from 0-12. So I would say to that the collective media response was, we knew, everybody knows what's on in the room. There's going to be a time for it. Let them decompress. Let them share the joy of this win before we start pouncing on him. And he did say that he had not yet told his team. So how much do you want to drill him? Do you want to know, did your new athletic director meet in Philadelphia a couple of weeks ago? I mean, how much do you want to dig into this? He's gone, right?
He is.
He's gone, and this wasn't news
It
today.
doesn't matter now.
10 years ago, I sat at
matter.
that podium. I sat to the left of George O'Leary. I had Kevin Smith on the right of George O'Leary. We had Joe Burnett, and I believe we had a guy named Leger Dujabel, who's been in the NFL for a long time now. That moment is not the time to start, and there was no chance Coach O'Leary was leaving, or at least we didn't think there was, although I've heard rumors later that he had offers, but nonetheless, who cares? That's not the moment to ask that. I get it. When ESPN puts something out during overtime and says that Coach Frost has accepted that job, everybody wants to know, but at that, Shaquem Griffin and Otis Anderson and anybody else that was at that podium with Coach Frost are as important or more important to this program than what Coach Frost was, in my opinion. That's strictly
and
my
to this
opinion.
point, in the years to come, we will warmly welcome back Shaquem Griffin.
Undoubtedly.
We may never see Scott Frost in this stadium again.
Right.
Okay, so Shaquem is part of the legend and
No
part
doubt.
of the history. So, and again, this is not a new subject. This was not Scott Frost was going to get emotional and say, I've changed my mind,
Right.
That would have been awesome, though.
Yeah,
It would have been.
It would have been a heck of a
awesome.
story. I think, one of the questions that Shaquem was asked was about a pregame ritual and meeting with his mother, and he said that he hearkened back to that he would pray before the game with his brother Shaquille, and he did that with his mother. That's what you have to hear in about a 15-minute window with these guys.
Right.
Not, what do you think about your coach leaving? Let them celebrate. They've got the hats on. They've got the shirts on. This is a time of great joy, not only for them, but UCF fans, alums, this program. No matter what Frost does in the next few moments in addressing his team, this team is 12-0, and we may only move up one more notch in any poll. But it's a New Year's Day bowl, and this is an even more attractive job now than it was a couple of hours ago.
Well, I mean, Kevin Sumlin or anybody, we've said this. Certain people can walk in here and have an incredible team.
You could say Kevin Sumlin, but there are a number of coaches that would roll off our tongues that would love this job right now. I don't know exactly who they are. Who knows how the college football landscape is going to evolve over the next 2 to 3 weeks. But if it's not Kevin Sumlin and it's not one of these other guys, there's people that want this job. Not everybody needs to go to a Power 5 conference right now. Come to a place where you got a young, talented football team at the core. You got a quarterback who's a true sophomore, who's going to play 2 more years for this program in Orlando. Come ride the wave with that guy. You got a fan base that arguably has donated more money than any other year that's going to continue to support this program because it's not Scott Frost going out there and asking people for money. It's not. It's Danny White. it's Mark Wright, it's the administration that is saying, look at this product that we have. Look how we
need
can
to keep it, and we can evolve it.
How do we keep it here?
Exactly.
And Scott Frost is not the guy that is. He's an easy sell, undoubtedly. But there's other people that could come in and continue to help sell that vision.
Absolutely.
I'll tell you what, I saw Danny White many times on the field, and obviously it's tense and people aren't joyful. He remained stoic.
Yes.
Throughout. And the post game, it wasn't that he did not shake Scott Frost's hand or that Dr. Hitt was not on the field to do so, but even they recognize, thank you for what you've done and good luck to you. They have jobs to do.
We got to move on.
Continue.
Yep.
Danny White's not going to get to celebrate this for very long. He's working text messages, he's working phone calls. He's doing a lot. After this game, in a few short days, we will have a new head coach.
Danny White's the key in all of this, and you got to remember that UCF athletics is larger than football. He hired Johnny Dawkins, he's hired some other phenomenal coaches for this program. He extended his contract, revised his contract, whatever you want to call it. He's the guy.
He's made the hires, that have worked out very well so far. So
there's a reason athletic directors get fired along with head coaches.
Right.
It's because they are just as important.
Right.
And we still got him.
If not more important, we had a poll the other
We asked
day.
that poll, and I was criticized by many. It may have even been Carson Engel for
Shocking.
asking this question. Who's more important to the future of UCF athletics, Danny White or Scott Frost? In 60-40, it was Danny White. If you're going to lose one, I would rather, at this moment, especially 12-0, I'd rather lose Scott Frost because I believe Danny White can hire the next head coach.
And Danny White is responsible for everything that goes on here as far as athletics go.
And we'll take that Nebraska money and we'll put it into the Lazy River and other things that are going on in this campus.
Absolutely.
And,
go swimming.
There's a payout, so that payout, has to be paid out. $3 million.
I'll take it.
There's $3 million more to the UCF Excellence Fund.
Don't know if you had gotten into this. It seemed to go away fairly quickly, but was the team distracted? Did you see things? I mean,
I think the defense was distracted.
I think they've run out of gas.
Yeah.
I mean, that game last week, and to come back and do it again. And remember, they went into that game the week before on a shortened week. So while they may have gotten a Saturday, Sunday off, this is 11 straight, or whatever it is, straight
11.
games. I mean, Shaquem spoke of just being tired.
Yeah.
They're very happy, and they know they've got another game coming up, but they're tired. And the benefit, by the way, there's a call, but the benefit of more practices now that come with being in the bowl. What a wonderful thing that is for the future development.
All right, let's take this one. Hey, you're on Knightline. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, this is Tony from Lake Nona.
All right, Tony from Lake Nona. Pretty close. What did you think of the game? What do you want to say?
A hell of a game. Really proud of these guys. Incredibly proud of ball. Shaq Griffin, a fellow Knight. I thought he played a hell of a game today. Really went out on top. So, I think there's just a huge number of positives to kind of take away from today. And, as I listened to Mark Daniels kind of tie things up on his show, I thought he left with a really good point, and that is, coaches come and go, players come and go. Those of us who are alums, those of us who are, Central Florida native, we're here for the long haul. And, this is now 2 New Year's 6 games in 5 years. There's so much to be proud of, and really we are on just the precipice of great things to come. So, I think it's easy to kind of get lost in all of what's going on with Coach Frost, but at the same time, when you take a step back and really look at it, I think he just has to be thankful for the job he did here, wish him well, and now we're on to the next big thing. And I think with Danny White at the helm as athletic director, we're just incredibly well positioned to capitalize on what's going on and really take that next step forward.
All right, thanks for your call, man. Good take for sure. Thank you. All right, so let's play a commercial here real quick because we're running out of time, believe it or not. Let me do this real quick. We'll be right back.
Hey, this is Travis Dever, Kai's Real Estate, the Dever team, New Smyrna Beach. Your source for real estate and everything else, New Smyrna Beach. Proud sponsor of Knightline and Knightline Postgame Live. Call me anytime at 386-690-1636. That's 386-690-1636. Let me show you my hometown, New Smyrna Beach, UCF's favorite beach. Go Knights and charge on.
All right, we're back at Burger U. Andrew Phegley.
Trey Trylko.
Team meeting, yeah.
Trey Trylko, yeah. Sorry, somebody was talking to me.
There's a team meeting at 5:30.
Yeah, I didn't.
That's starting now, then.
Yeah, so right about now is when this whole thing is going down with Scott Frost and the team. So, good. Get it over with, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, hey, you're on Knightline. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, this is Manny. I'm visiting Boston right now with some family from Florida.
All right, what do you think?
Am I on?
Yeah,
am I on?
Yeah.
Oh, hey, okay. Listen, check this out. I'm happy for everyone. I'm happy for Frost and Danny White, the team, Shaquem, and all that. But what? And we're gonna be okay. As a team, and UCF football will be fine. But the thing is, what concerns me is that ESPN and Dave Pollock and all them. I've heard him say several times, he would be interested in a G5 playoff and this and that, and he said that several times. The program has and the alumni and all that. They need to watch out for that. That's like. That would kill the program completely if we go into a G5 playoff. That's total nonsense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not liking that at all.
Yeah, you make a very good point. When we spoke with American Athletic Commissioner Mike Oresco, he's talked about this. Once you do that, once you break off, they're never inviting you back. So they have to continue to do what they're doing and just knock down the door. And, does it take 12-0? Does it take these sort of exciting nationwide TV games? It may be so, but they've got to keep doing that. Once they do that, they'll be like the 1AA playoffs.
Well, everybody's going to think, people are going to think I'm crazy for saying this, but if you look at Division II and the way that they handle all this when there's not all the money for the bowl games.
Right.
Yes, we love the money for the bowl games and the TV contracts and stuff like that, but they're doing it right. And that's the NCAA that's doing it right over there as well.
I think my take on that is I don't care who's leading UCF. They will never let that happen to this school in this program. So I don't think that that's a concern.
We're talking about the NCAA.
There is so much more positive things ahead for this school and this football program, and for that will never be an option for UCF. Maybe it'll be Maybe it'll be an option for some other people, but it will not be an option for us.
Exactly. For some other people, but I know I'm an alumni and I love the school and everything. The thing is, we're unique. We're not like the other schools. We're better than a lot of P5s. We're better than a lot of G5s. The location enrollment is so huge. You know what I mean? I don't want to be going to F. You'll be a FCS A and a FCS B. You know what I'm saying? So that should never, ever, ever happen at our school. So anyway, thank you guys. You guys are doing a great job, okay? Appreciate it.
Okay. Thank you for your take, man. Really appreciate it.
So as we said,
we've had a bunch of good. I'm sorry. We've had a bunch of good phone calls today. A lot of different takes. I mean, that guy.
No, that's a good topic to bring up, and I agree.
For sure.
That's not any direction.
Never going to happen.
Or the American, and that's not something they want to talk about.
No.
Flowing on Twitter, of course, now is that Frost is meeting with the players, and reading also that Danny White's going to have a media availability coming up. So, we still have to enjoy this.
I have to just jump in because I was mentioned and I wasn't on the headset at the time. I was very upset with you about that poll that you put out on Twitter a few weeks ago. And
that was last week.
It's not that I didn't disagree with the content of the poll or disagree with the decision of the public that Danny White was more important to this program with Scott Frost. I just wanted to do everything possible to try to put our best foot forward as a program and as a university, as in a fan base, to say we want you to stay. I didn't want any negativity whatsoever to be out there, and that was all that I. All that I had.
Did you vote
the
poll?
Yes.
Okay, all right, thanks.
Yes.
I appreciate that.
Yes, I did.
That was the most.
Because I wanted to see
the most responses we've ever gotten.
I wanted to see the results.
And I got blasted by a couple of people for posting that poll, and all of them have acknowledged that they voted.
Well, of course.
Well, I want to see the results.
Who'd you vote for?
I voted for Scott Frost.
Was more important to the future of UCF athletics?
No, I don't agree with my vote, but I did it because I was trying to counteract you even putting the poll up to begin with.
How many times did you vote? Oh, no. Okay.
They only let you vote once, I think.
Oh, I voted multiple times. I have a bunch of Twitter accounts.
Well, I'm sorry that I don't have the time to do that.
Well, how do you think?
I really don't think you do either.
I don't.
So I don't know that you need to be doing that.
How do you think Andrew won in the what will the Frost baby name be? Andrew or Trey?
Do we have a name on Lincoln?
No.
It's probably Lincoln, right?
Tom.
Yeah.
It's probably Tom.
No, what's the other one?
Ozzy? Maybe Ozzy?
No,
Herbie.
Herbie.
The corn husker.
They have a Herbie Husker. It's their
Herbie Husker.
Have fun. Don't let that 28-degree weather hit you in the ass tonight.
Yeah.
I think winning makes this all easier.
It
I mean,
does.
Andrew, I've heard from more people talking about your reaction to this last week and throughout the week.
I still haven't figured it out. I said earlier that I think I'm relieved, but I still haven't figured it out. We'll see what Danny White has to say. That's what I want to know. I see it. He's pointing at the phone. I know we have a phone. I have a big red light on the phone. I know we have phones.
Well, you were looking at me. I didn't know if you saw it.
No, I was talking to you. Anyway, it's all good. Yeah, let's take this phone call, I guess, Trace. All right. Hey, you're on Knightline. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, it's Ian Akers over here in St. Pete, formerly of Annapolis, Maryland.
All right. So, what did you think about the game today?
I thought Scott Frost had torpedoed us with his little Nebraska fiasco and leaving our team high and dry, but our UCF boys showed me I was wrong.
Yeah, well, I thought the same thing. I mean, I thought that, the players were never going to get up for this game and never be able to do it, but obviously we were wrong. I think the defensive side of the ball had some issues, but at certain points.
Did you see that Kyle Israel tweet about Shenander not getting us prepped for this game? I don't like to see that.
Yeah, well,
that rubs me the wrong way.
Yeah, well, Kyle was just on with us, and it seems like pretty much the entire staff is leaving tonight for Lincoln. Is what?
Well, I want to, because people get into panic and they go into hysteria on this, and that's why I was earlier trying to kind of just. I think it's mostly the recruiting staff. The kind of behind-the-scenes people that we don't know that are going with him right now.
Right.
The majority, the gut of this staff, the bones of this staff, will be here to prep UCF for the bowl game. They will be here to coach UCF through the bowl game.
So, guess what? So I don't care if we win or lose that New Year's Six bowl. Last 5 years, we had 1 year that was a fluke. The other years, we went to a bowl game. 2 out of those years, we went to a New Year's Six bowl game. One of them we won already. Maybe we win this one.
Right.
Not feeling too bad. Football excellence fund filling up pretty quick. I see that sword getting to the top.
Oh.
Our Danny White's got our back.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Danny White's got our back. Guess what? Let me see. Okay, if you're an up-and-coming coach and you're like, I could go to somewhere in the MAC, or I could go to UCF where I'll win.
Or if you're a coach that needs a reset. If you're a coach that needs the reset button like Kevin Sumlin,
Absolutely.
just got fired probably for not really any good reason at Texas A&M. What a perfect place to come and reset.
Hey, have fun in Lincoln, Nebraska. I hear it's really warm this time of year. It's a great place to vacation.
Andrew's got 28 degrees on his jersey right now. He's got the 28. It was 28 degrees in Lincoln, Nebraska this morning.
Right. Yeah.
Bundle up, boys.
I don't want to be there. I can tell you that. And I've been there before, and right now it's cold and brown. And right here it's sunny. And
meanwhile, I'm hanging out under a palm tree. I'm wearing shorts and a UCF polo.
Absolutely. Yep.
It's hot out here.
We got it right. Scott Frost couldn't figure it out, I guess. All right, man.
Listen, I don't care. Whoever comes in next year, we're going to another bowl game. Mark my words, 2019, another New Year's Six bowl game.
All right.
I like it.
Sounds good. I love it. Thank you for calling, man. Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Friend of Knightline, friend of UCF Athletics, our buddy TJ LSU dad.
Man, what a great guy.
He's a great follow on Twitter. He writes, the only way Nebraska could get national headlines this entire season is leaking out details of that contract with Coach Frost.
During the game.
You know what? It's bad form, and we'll have time to talk about this on Knightline Sunday, but boy, what an era when you can directly contact UCF players as a fan, an alum, or a booster, and try and influence them to come to your program. And then the vitriol, just the horrible comments made by some.
It's not so bad to be out from under that now, is it?
No,
to kind of be on the other side of that.
Yeah.
It's a relief a little
Let's
bit.
take this phone call real quick.
Hey, you're on Knightline. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Jamie calling from New Jersey.
All right, Jamie, what do you got on your mind?
You know what? Today was awesome. The season was awesome, and I don't even want to talk about the coaching thing so much, but I just want to talk about, since I don't live locally, thank you guys for the podcast. It keeps me connected to the program. But
thank you for listening.
The past 2 weeks, what ABC has done for UCF. This morning I went to get my Christmas tree with my kids, and the guy cutting the Christmas tree down said, "Oh my God, I'm wearing my UCF hat, whatever." He goes, "Last week's game was unbelievable. I wish I weren't working. I want to go watch it."
Yeah.
I went to the mom and pop hardware store in Belmar, New Jersey. They got a TV in there. They go, "We're watching your games. Last week was unbelievable." And then I leave there. I go grab a coffee from the coffee shop. Guys walk in. They see my hat. They're like, "That was the craziest game I've ever seen. We're watching it today." So I don't want to take up too much time, but for people out of the area, these past 2 weeks on ABC has catapulted the program naturally. It's
Absolutely. It's some of the best football that's being played, period, as far as I'm concerned. So thank you very much for your call, man, and thank you for listening all the way in New Jersey there. Really appreciate it.
Charge on, fellas.
Go Knights.
Go Knights.
Awesome.
That's huge, and I'll tell you we endured along with Night Nation 0-12, and
it was horrible.
What a joyful celebration,
Horrible.
and to know that we've connected with so many more people all across Central Florida and across the country, all over the world, Knights fans, to really enjoy this. And that's what we need to do, and that's what a message was this week. Let's not get bogged down in this. We can't stop it, what was happening there, but let's fuel these players. And I'm glad it was not a total sellout like last week, but the crowd was strong. Highest crowd ever for an American Athletic Conference championship game in the 5 years of the league. You won't be surprised, by the way, it's also the highest scoring game. And the highest scoring title game of any conference, by the way. So,
I mentioned right off the top, the first thing that I said was 1,742 yards.
Is that what it was?
Or 1,479 or something.
Goodness.
I've still got it here, I think, if I pull my calculator.
And think about
up
all
on my
the folks listening to us on message boards in those stands today. That
1,479.
You needed a calculator.
Yeah.
And you know who you are. You booed Mackenzie Milton. A true freshman.
Yeah,
and you know who you are.
You wanted Holman.
You wanted Holman in the Cure Bowl, and he was behind an offensive line that was not strong last year and that weakened every week. What a testament to those guys, by the way, that they did what they did this year. We wouldn't have the season that we had without that line.
Right.
Coming through.
Horrible thing that happened during that overtime, though, was Tyler Danek going down again, and it looks like that same knee, the way that he was being carried off the field.
He was on the field for the post-game celebration, though. So
was he walking?
Yeah, he was walking.
Oh, good.
He was walking.
Yeah, that doesn't mean his ACL's not crap, though.
I'll tell you, who was also very happy today was Dr. Hitt. You saw him out there, and he came out towards the end of the game.
What a send-off for him.
He sat for overtime and watched it from the golf cart, but he could see what was going on, but was all smiles. I had a chance to talk with him, and
really?
he's just very happy to. I mean, what a way to end what has been quite the legacy.
Wouldn't have been possible without him. So.
Let me say a couple things. I waxed poetically a little bit earlier about kind of the program and where we are in the state of college football and the mentality that we kind of have to take. I know people are upset. I know people are kind of down in the dumps about what's happened with Scott Frost. To steal one of his popular phrases that we had to hear over and over and over.
I love this place.
There will one day be someone who values this place for what it is.
Yeah.
That may not be tomorrow. That may not be Kevin Sumlin. That may not even be in 5 years from now. But there will be someone that we say, you know what, this person really appreciated UCF for what it is.
Right.
We're not going away.
Nope.
Okay. There are bigger things ahead for this program, and the way that this team has been able to capture really the imagination of the nation the last 2 weeks has been tremendous. So I want to leave the fans with that, and also to bring it back to who really matters, and that's the players, a couple guys. Shaquem Griffin, we talked about him with Kyle a little bit earlier, the greatest leader in the history of this program, maybe the greatest defensive player in the history of this program. There's no way that this team gets through the BS
that the staff before Scott Frost did not see and did not let him.
They excluded him. They neglected him. They left him on the bench.
How important, to your point about Shaquem, was he and Rory Coleman, who
Unbelievable.
we know, right, was an incredible story, calling a players' meeting. And you heard it, and I felt echoed from Otis Anderson. We were playing for the guy to the left and the guy to the right. And I think also part of playing for that crowd and that fan base and their university. They rose this game up, and they transcended what went on all week.
UCF does not get through this season without his contribution, with what he did as a leader. They do not get through that because they didn't have it. Not to say the coaches were great. The coaches have been phenomenal, but just all the controversy and all the chaos around this, they needed Shaquem Griffin to ground them. And number 2, the kid that everyone left for dead, myself included. I didn't boo him and call for Holman at the bowl game, but I didn't think this guy would be any good. Unbelievable the way that Mackenzie Milton has carried himself.
I was telling people the entire time. I was telling people, wasn't I?
No, and
I was saying I've watched this kid's
You
tape.
may be new to this program, and we have a lot of new people every day, but the folks that have stayed with us for some time know that you have championed Mackenzie Milton from the early days.
The second that I saw this kid's name and I saw his tape, I was like, this guy is a freaking superstar. He is. I mean, here's the cool thing about Kevin Sumlin's name being mentioned, because something that he did, Johnny Manziel, he had a player called Johnny Manziel who was Mackenzie Milton is every bit as talented as Johnny Manziel.
And without the jackassery.
Without the jackassery, exactly. Yeah. We're on YouTube.
Like
we can say whatever we want.
That's a good word right there.
So, exactly. That's the deal. I would love Kevin Sumlin to come here and do exactly what he did with Johnny Manziel.
And you know, this Heisman talk for Mackenzie Milton was fan-based and a Twitter handle and that kind of thing. But I'll tell you what, UCF should put a lot of energy around who will be a junior next year in what will win or lose in the New Year's Day Bowl. And I like our chances against anybody they put in that bowl game.
Absolutely.
A healthy, rested team 1 month from now.
Our defense needs to get rested a little bit.
I like our chances in that game, but we enter the season, even with a new coach, with just a lot of momentum. And I would love to see UCF build around this Mackenzie.
Players on this team, like him, love him, or hate him, they played for that man, and he brought them here. And I think he deserves his due.
And he was happy, no doubt, today. I don't know how much longer this is going on. I will be with you on Knightline, but I'm going to head back to the stadium.
Wrap it.
Danny White is doing a media avail, and I want to see if I can grab him.
Well, that's a perfect opportunity to wrap this up. So, fans, it's been incredible, Night Nation. It's been incredible to do this all year long. Carson, you've helped tremendously with this. I really appreciate it.
Man.
I really appreciate it. So, Trace, we've done something that we wanted to do. I wanted to do this really bad. I built this little thing so we could do it. I think it's been quite successful, and we need to thank Travis Dever. We need to thank Burger U. You know, it's been awesome. I'm glad it's over with, though.
You're not leaving, are you?
I'm not leaving.
Oh, okay. We got another game. Buckle up that shin strap.
On to Atlanta, boys.
I'll be doing that one from home on New Year's.
No, you're coming with us. We're getting you there. I ain't putting up with that. You're coming to Atlanta. Right?
I got to work. I got to work the next day. I'll be lucky if I could get that night off.
We'll have more reaction on Knightline Sunday. We'll have more talk about this coach thing. We got a lot to talk about. go on our Twitter feed. I posted several clips from the post-game press conferences and some
Awesome.
photos, UCF_Knightline, so you can see some of those clips, and we'll have the mashups on Sunday.
Awesome. Maybe Danny White announces a new head coach tonight at this little meeting.
Maybe
You never
not.
know.
Maybe not.
You never know.
Maybe
All
not.
right, we'll see you on Sunday. Have a good one. I'm Andrew Phegley.
I'm Trace Trylko. For
Carson Engel.
Go Knights!
Charge on.
With our spirits, we'll never yield. Black and gold charge right through the line. Victory is our cry. B-S-E-T-O-R-Y. Tonight our knights will